Top Hill Recording Podcast, episode 154. What's going on, Neil?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Yeah, dude.
Man, had a good weekend in Nashville.
We had a phenomenal weekend in Nashville.
Went down to see our boy, Dusty Bow.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great. He was awesome. Good time. Amazing experience. We went to East Nashville, which was different.
Yeah.
Usually it's the downtown thing, the Broadway, all that stuff. Not this time. So we had a good time. We did a bunch of new stuff. We had stuff to celebrate. And it was a great time, man. Anniversary for me. Cindy's birthday for you.
Yep.
Good times. We missed our fifth wheel, though.
Brent didn't go with us.
I know. I suck.
It was like, man, what is wrong with this guy? He's our guy. What's he not? Come on.
But you're here tonight, man. Welcome, Brent.
He said he blamed it on work, and we'll let him have that. He has to pay for his podcast habit.
That and bourbon.
Yeah. Okay.
Got a great guest with us tonight.
Yeah,
Nate
man.
Brooks. Welcome, Nate.
Hey there, y'all.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man. Grab that mic.
Yeah, I got it now. Yeah, I got a good grip on things.
How was your drive in?
It was pretty good. I was listening to the Dylan Weber Owens interview y'all did with him.
Oh,
man, that guy
yeah.
just walked out of the woods. He's a magical treat for all of us. I
Yeah.
love that guy.
He is.
Have you heard his new EP?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
recorded that in this room.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's great. It came out super clean. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
he was telling me like what exactly he wanted it to sound like. And he was pulling out some of the Nathan Salzberg records, and he was
Yeah.
like, I needed to have that crispy high that he's got on there. Like, that can't get mellowed out. And y'all pulled it off. So
Yeah.
was it just this microphone y'all were using?
No,
for
we
that?
used the R88
Okay.
up close, and we tried to, we placed it pretty evenly between the base of the guitar and end of the neck, stockhead, and then we used the ISK pencil
ISKs.
condensers.
Was
Okay.
that
On
you
each
got
side.
the gems?
Nice.
Little gems? Or the pearls?
Can't remember which ones it was.
I think you got the little gems. Those things
But yeah,
are
it turned
little
out nice.
gems.
It turned
too.
out really nice. It
Of
sounded
course,
great. y'all.
it would be hard to make Dylan sound bad, but
There you go.
That's true. Yeah.
Key.
Yeah.
That's key.
and he wanted to have an authentic EP, and it was important for him to play one take start to finish.
Mhm.
So all those are one take start to finish. You know,
It's incredible.
I think on a couple of them he did 5. I think on a couple of them, we ran through a couple times and maybe kept a second or third, but it wasn't.
Yeah, but every time we were like, no, it was great. And he's like, let's
just do it one more time.
Yeah, that's a part of it. Yeah.
But we didn't cut anything in. Yeah, we didn't comp
Nice.
anything. Everything was one take start to finish.
Mighty impressive.
Yeah.
Well, here's
Yeah.
what else is mighty impressive. Nate brought the
1792.
1792, buddy. I've
Oh,
got my
yeah.
glass, so I'm ready.
Your sister's favorite bourbon.
My sister's favorite in the world, small batch 1792. Thanks, Nate. Thanks for bringing it in, man.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Cheers,
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 indeed.
brother.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Clink, clink.
Clinkety clink.
Yeah, let's have a sip.
Feels good in my throat today. Yeah.
That's one of the good
Coffee.
things about being on video. When we were just audio, I always felt like, we had to sip real quick because, it's dead audio. Now, it's
Now you want the
there's a
close-up
visual.
with
Yeah.
and we really like bourbon. It
Yeah.
wasn't all fake. It wasn't fake. Hey,
So-
I got to say before we even start,
Okay.
Nate has one of my favorite Spotify bios I've ever seen in my life.
What is it? I didn't read it.
It says, don't quote me, but it's pretty close to, the record sounds better if you listen start to finish or something like that. I was like, what does it say? What is it?
Well, I actually changed it, I think, yesterday. But
No
yeah,
kidding.
it said essentially that. Yeah, I
Oh.
didn't think too long about it. Just like, try listening to it all the way through. It's
He changed
nice
your
that
favorite
way.
Spotify bio.
You didn't
I'll
change
change
it to a real bio, did you?
I changed it. Just says Ryder from Kentucky now.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll change
No,
it back
it's
if you
good.
like.
You can leave that. Just put side note and then
Yeah.
that. Because
All
I was
right,
like,
deal.
I said, man, I love that.
Good. No,
Here's what you need to know. Listen from start to finish to this last record.
He also
Exactly.
brought us patches, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
those
yeah.
Can you
ones
see
are-
that, Brent?
Heck yeah. Yeah.
Creekside
those
Country
are
Boy
nice.
Tough Foot Training Program.
Those little things are fun. I like those. At shows at trade, I'll tell people, all right, if you buy me a beer, I'll give you a patch. And that's a nice deal. Like that, it works out well for me.
So, what is the patch?
Tell us about that.
It was COVID season, and it was that summer, and me and some boys were just walking around in a creek bed, and we ditched the shoes and went walking across. We were like, "Ah, man, hurts my feet." Like, this is how you get tough feet. Oh, we could start a training program. Creekside Country Boy Tough Foot Training Program. And then that night I went home and designed some patches and called up about 9 other guys, and they all pitched in $10. And I found this website. They made us 300 of those patches.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Just got them stowed away right now.
Brent, your dad will love this patch.
Oh yeah, I'll take him one.
I'll get you another if you like.
I'm sure his feet aren't very tough anymore, but he'll like the patch.
What do you think? He was still pretty barefoot most of the time.
Yeah, I'd say so.
All right, Nate. Well, we're going to start off. Why don't you take us back to childhood and tell us about your early memories of music? And then, at what point did you realize music was going to be a big part of your life?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of has to be a big part of your life if you're paying attention or if you're having fun. But my dad, he had one Paul Simon CD, one Lyle Lovett Live in Texas CD, and not much else. He had a Bob Marley CD in there too, and so we were going through those 3 on the way to school every morning. And then my mom was real into the Beatles and Bruce Springsteen, and that was where more of the passion side of music was coming from, I would say. So
tell you what, man, that's if you're gonna have 4 writers, that's 4 good writers, right. and even 5 with Bob Marley, because you throw that in there, man. That's some feel right there.
Yeah, no. And I mean, the only Bob Marley song we ever listened to is "Steer It Up,h," which I mean, that was great on its own. Yeah, that's all you needed.
Phenomenal.
The Bob Marley song.
Yeah, right.
Man, my neighbor pulled me in to listen to some Lyle Lovett last week.
Oh, I was there.
Yep.
Yeah. It was. It was.
Was it just
awesome.
me and you, or was Kim there too?
Yeah, she was there.
All right. Yeah. So that dude. He was, I guess he got a lot of credit, but he still is so unique and interesting. Interesting, I think, is the word. He didn't write and doesn't write like other people.
Yeah.
So his as a lyricist, I guess Paul Simon's kind of like that in a different way. But man, you name forward. That's sorry to interrupt.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. Like I mean, that's it, the Lyle especially has really been coming out recently, and the Paul Simon is like. That was always like, you put him on a pedestal, like always wanted to beat him for sure. But Lyle Lovett, like over the past 3 years, I'd say, like COVID happened and like I had to move back home to Eastern Kentucky, like into Stanton, and really started getting a better appreciation for country music around then. Okay. And Lyle Lovett was just one of the most fun ones to be listening to. And pulling out that CD that Dad had, there's just some funky stuff on there, man. But I ended up doing some piano lessons. I was the only one of my brothers that stuck with it for a long time. I did it for about 6 years and stopped once I got to middle school. Started learning theory a little bit that way, but then I was an iPod kid. And my uncle had gotten us like the CD collection of the Beatles on there. So I uploaded those on there. So I would have the Beatles in one ear and then like figuring out how to play along with them in the other ear, and was like learning how to play by ear that way. And then things progressed a little bit. Just I got really into indie rock once high school came around, and it was the stuff that was fun to play along with. That's
easy and fun and energetic.
Exactly.
Like what?
Yeah,
give me an example.
Dr. Dog.
Okay.
Alabama Shakes.
Okay.
Like,
okay.
Yeah, the Sound and Color, like that's like one of my top 3 favorite album. I love the Killers. That was when I first started making music. It was really just because I was like, okay, I get what they're doing here. Let's see if I can do it too. So I started off just like very briefly trying to make covers, and then the writing started happening. But then more recently, it was after about a couple of years of that, the music part of it got more boring, and the writing part really was starting to get exciting.
Okay.
And that was when it really kind of set in. Like once I actually got an interest in writing songs was when I was like, okay, I'm going to have a habit of doing this for a long time now, I guess.
There you go.
Yeah.
Did you move primarily to guitar once you got to high school, or are you still?
I was in college.
Okay,
I was growing my hair out as a sophomore and not paying attention in class and learning guitar outside of class.
Sounds familiar, man.
Nah. I was a sophomore in high school for me. I was kept on going.
No, I'm talking about being in college, not going to class.
I mean, I don't know if you can even consider what I did the first couple semesters being in college.
Hold on, what was your and your roommates' combined GPA first semester?
Dude, I don't
all
know.
4 of you?
I don't know what theirs was, but whatever theirs was, I was definitely pulled up, and they were definitely pulled down in the bell curve.
So if they had a 4.0, Neil pulled them down to a 2.0.
If I remember correctly, I think it was like a 1.0 combined.
Really?
Wow.
I think your dad used to joke about
I don't know, man. I had a 0.0, so whatever everybody else
because none of y'all went to class.
I backed that one up with another 0.0, and
That's impressive.
it's something.
That's a small number.
It's something.
No, I actually loved school though. I was so into classes. I was good at school and love it, and but now the music stuff was a little more fun.
Well, I figured out in my older age, we had this conversation this weekend. I couldn't go to class, man, because it was more anxiety than not wanting to learn or go to class. Because I was always a good student. I didn't have to try to get good grades, but I didn't realize until I was like 43 that I have anxiety and what it looks like. So it's just a fear of going somewhere new. So that was probably it more than anything. So then I just, but I didn't want to leave either. So I wanted to stay down there another semester. So I donated another semester's worth of money.
Where were you at?
UK.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Lexington, man, it was fun to hang out. I could have just went and hung out though, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
It's harder to convince yourself. It's easier to go somewhere if you've got like a solid reason to go there, you know?
Actually, I did have a solid reason to go there. It just didn't work out either.
So you said you moved back to Eastern Kentucky after COVID. Where were you before COVID?
Bowling Green at WKU.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I love that place down there. Bowling Green's top tier town in USA.
There's some good music going on there in Bowling Green.
Is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, there is.
A lot of good music.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
They, Cage did a free show before a football game one time down there. And that was so much fun, man. It was about like 10 a.m. and just everybody was trashed all across the field. It was a beautiful scene. But yeah, the Young Romantics down there, I really, really love those guys. And like the let's see, Sugar Daisy, they were kind of big when I was in school, and then the Josephines were really coming up, and they were really starting to like tear down some things, man. Yeah,
they're kind of exploding.
Yeah, and they've got a high ceiling, I think. And there's this guy, Gonzo Eldritch. His name is Nate McClendon, but he goes by the name of Gonzo Eldritch. That he is just magic, man. He's like very similar kind of character to Dylan Weber Owens, except like very, very spiritual, religious guy. I'm a religious guy, and he just really like he put me onto C.S. Lewis, and that was a really big. Really, really, really big thing for me. And
is that Aaron Lewis's brother? No,
yeah, he was into him and his Golden Messenger, and like his has been one of my favorites since getting with Nate. And but yeah, Nate McClendon, Gonzo Eldritch, he puts out some magical music. So it's good stuff.
Check that out.
Tell him to reach out to us. Yeah.
Absolutely, I will, man. He's a new father.
Congratulations, Gonzo. Shout out.
Yeah,
shout out to Gonzo. Have a drink for Gonzo and his new kid, man. Cheers, Gonzo. This one's for you. Actually, it's for the kid, but we'll drink for anything around here.
We had a good time with Young Romantics in here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And they stay in touch. They shoot a message every now and then. You know, they put out I saw on their story today on Instagram, it was exactly 1 year.
Oh, nice.
From yesterday or today that they recorded podcast and one shots in there.
Yeah, nice.
Super good dudes. They talk about good energy.
Mm-hmm.
And a good vibe. That was every one of them were just pleasant, man.
Yeah.
Oh gosh,
pleasant.
Yeah. No, they let's see. So Max Erskine is a guy in Bowling Green. He does the sound engineering.
Yep.
Oh yeah, love that guy. He's great. He mastered my last album. He's going to be mastering this upcoming one too. Matt Porter from Young Romantics, their drummer. He's played on last album, played half the songs on this album too, and Griffin has always he's been my boy. He's been in my corner like since putting out stuff under the pseudonym during college. And he was like, man, good stuff. You got to keep it up. And I was
what was the pseudonym?
Polar Skates.
Polar Skates.
Polar Skates. Yeah, it's still
Polar
up on
Skates?
the things. Yeah, Polar Skates.
That
man.
is a great.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I've been on the fence between pulling it back out and just rolling with that.
Dude, that's great.
It's still out there, though.
I
Huh?
like it.
Yeah, it's out there. Polar Skates is out there. Yeah, there's one of the projects for Polar Skates was called For Swingin'. It's spelled FERSWINGEN. And that was just so much fun, man. Like, just because nobody was paying the lick of attention, and I was just messing around with it. And like, some people listen to it. Some people still listen to that stuff. It's just hilarious. But yeah, but Griffin's always been in the corner. Mitch, he was on my floor freshman year, or he may have just been in the building. I don't remember exactly what floor he was on, but their guitarist, man, Mitchell, he's just, we went ice skating together my freshman year of college. So, yeah, I have some history with those boys.
We went ice skating together.
That was another name we mentioned this weekend was Max.
Yeah, we did.
Having him come up and do a podcast. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Is he coming up?
Oh, we haven't talked to him. We were just talking about people we ought to have in, and his name comes up a lot in talking to people who's recorded down in Thunder Sound.
Speaking of, hold on. How's your head, man?
Huh?
How's your head?
Oh,
Do you
it's
need
all
any
right.
stitches or anything? Oh, it looks good. I thought it'd be way worse than that.
I think it went straight in.
It must have. Brad almost, he had a nail hit his brain yesterday when he was putting in. So yesterday we did some work to the studio. Brent, could you go to the wide shot, please? And put in some can lights, man, so we don't have those lights and the cords running anymore.
Some don't have the shop lights and extension cords.
Yeah, you have no idea how exciting this is. We've been doing this video forever, and that was the biggest hurdle in any video. It had to be down a certain level because it was just, you didn't want lights in the thing.
And
It looks awesome.
I didn't just stick a nail in my head once. So there's 4 lights, and every time I reach for that hole, I would hit my head on top of the roof where the roofing nail was coming through.
He came down from the ceiling yesterday. I was like, oh my God! He had a blood smear over here, one over here. Ah, man, I was worried about him. I thought we were going to have to go to the doctor.
It was all worth it.
It was. Look
You
at
had
that,
to feel
man.
pretty good about yourself, though, that, right?
Yeah.
Feeling like Braveheart.
Yeah, a little
coming down.
DIY, you know.
Hey, man, I
blood
vacuumed
running
down here.
my eyes.
I vacuumed down here.
There
Felt
you go.
pretty good about the whole thing. Felt good about myself. Don't tell my wife I vacuumed down here. She'll be like, oh, you can do it.
So Nate, do you go mostly? You mostly play guitar now, or do you still play keys from time to time?
I play guitar just mainly because it's the easiest one to have around, but piano's still the most fun one. I just more comfortable.
Fun.
Oh yeah. You get on. It's all right in front of you. It's so logical. You can just see what you're doing.
It is logical.
Yeah, it's good. I still don't know the scales on this thing. Like, only reason I started playing guitar was because like you can have it in a dorm room is one thing, and then like if you're going to be a songwriter, you have to play guitar with it. Like,
So
you
that's
can't just show
interesting.
up somewhere playing piano.
You started playing in college in the dorm room. Is that why you started finger style to be quiet in the dorm room?
Probably. Yeah.
Finger styled in the dorm room, man. And I think there's a rule on the door that said that's not allowed. But you know, breaking rules. Hey, so the people are playing these guitars now, man. You could just lug one of those things around.
I wanted to.
Dude, I've seen one in this room. It was the only one I've seen in a long time. But it was cool.
Man,
Still the
Day
only
cruise,
one, isn't
right?
it? Huh?
Day
Day
cruise.
cruise, yeah.
I would have liked to have been on the accordion kick. That would have been a fun thing, but
that
that'll
thing
probably
looks crazy.
I'll save that till I'm like in my 50s or something. It feels more.
Man, I watched the Sam B's polka thing from time to time on, I don't know, some weird network, KET.
Mhm.
I get down with some polka at times.
You watch
bring
polka?
Ironically, Kim makes fun of me when I do. I think it's cool, just to watch those old folks do some stuff.
Go to like
And
a German American club.
Yeah,
The polka band's playing.
You know what's
Sure,
best
yeah.
about it is how serious those people are.
Well, sure, it's their music, man.
They are getting it. And then they're like, all right, next song. And they're like, it's the same thing as the last one. But it's cool.
I've seen a polka band one time, and we were in
That's enough.
Wisconsin. And it was a brewery. I think it was called Lakeside Brewery on Wisconsin, or Riverside or something. It was by a river. And I've never seen so many. First of all, have y'all been to Milwaukee? You
No.
talk about beer.
Yeah.
Talk about beer drinkers.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you go out for breakfast at 9 in the morning, and there'll be people with a whole table full of 25 empty beer bottles at 9 a.m. But I've never seen so many drunk people in my life as I did at that polka place.
That's great.
It probably held 500 people, and they're all just stumbling around drunk. Not just intoxicated. I'm talking. Yeah.
Were they drinking the liter glasses like the German beer?
I don't remember. No, it was a lakeside brewery.
I bet it was some thick beer though. You know those.
Matt set us up with it. We need to hear a song.
Yeah,
let's get in here a song. What do you have to play for us first, Nate?
I got a song called "Wild Foxes." It's going to be the intro track for the upcoming album, which I think is going to be called Picacho.
Oh, yeah.
It's a new one, yeah.
Over the ridgeline into the valley you were born in. It's been a while since the morning, and my God, your eyes are starved. Wild foxes in the front yard, moving boxes in the back of your mind. Oh, seek and ye shall find, but the seeking surely has been hard. Well, you've been following the wind. You went up one side, but you'll be coming down again. You're floating down the stairway, you got nothing busting out the top of your bag. You left everything you had long ago. You never had the answers, but you never stopped to ask the questions either. The rubber burning like it had a fever, and there you go. Oh, you've been following the wind. You went up one side, but you'll be coming down again. Well, you said goodbye to all your friends. You went up one side and never been seen again. Well, I was talking to your father later on, and he asked me if I had a clue. Well, does it look much like I do? And I'm sitting in my study now. I guess you're still looking for your role. And the pendulum takes its toll, takes a bow. Well, you've been following the wind. You went up one side, but you'll be coming down again. Well, you ought to send your regards to all your old friends. You went up one side and never been seen again.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Thanks.
That's beautiful, man.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Sounded great.
Yeah.
I didn't hear any
squeaks from me.
Any problems with the sinus infection, man? I know you're coming off a sinus infection, right?
Sing low enough to work with it anyway. Yeah. Shoot. No, so on the record version, Colin O'Daniel, he's on there from the Highlanders.
Yeah.
He's playing just a killer electric guitar on there, and he actually drummed on that song too. So he and we had met like this past spring, I guess, and he was just really friendly and down to help out with stuff. And he was like, "Hey, I like your style. Let's make some stuff." So he's all over my new album, and
cool.
Yeah, so he's on that one and really adds a lot of spice to it. So yeah, it's fun stuff. So
that was another fun group to have in here.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
and they just came back.
Everybody we've had in has been a good time. Though.
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me that you mentioned all these names, and it's just what we've talked about many times: the community of artists around the Louisville scene and really Kentucky,
the state,
the state are so generous with each other. It's very, very. I think if you were not that way at this point, you would stand out because everybody is so complimentary and helpful. And it seems like, you look at some of the shows that we go to these days around town, and it'll be three people, a three artist night, and they'll all have been here. And,
and a lot of artists to be out in the crowd.
Yeah.
Watching.
Which is even cooler.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I think Oliver's at every show in Louisville about every Thursday or Friday night because it doesn't matter where you are, he'll find you. It's crazy though. And cool that you mention other people like that because it's just a continuation of the belief I've gotten from doing this.
Yeah.
Oh, and props to you all for doing this show too. Because I mean, what you're doing, you're like giving us a chronology for it all. If we didn't have this, then this is becoming the library of Kentucky music on this show.
Oh, that's
cool.
good.
Wow, man. Thank you.
It's really impressive. Like just
we love it.
Yeah. Y'all do good with it for sure. So yeah,
man, that's very nice of you.
Absolutely.
We appreciate that. We hope everybody's a little bit forgiving when we start the video podcast because we have the audio down, but we're learning video.
Yeah.
We're learning about shutter speed and ISO and zooms and wide lenses and switchers and.
But that's something else we've learned with the artists around here is that everybody's willing to work with you.
Yeah.
Think about back to the beginning when we had the very start of One Shot, and we had Brooks Ritter and his wife, and we had Aaron Biebelhauser. We didn't have lights. We didn't know what it was supposed to look like. We didn't have any idea. So
it looked like they were being interrogated.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, that's what it does look like. It does not look like it does now. Yeah. And nobody's ever said anything negative about it. They just have been super complimentary, regardless of I think maybe Turn 3 or Hillfigs or somebody were the first ones to get lights.
Yeah.
And it did make a huge difference. But just a little bit of learning during that did not really help us with this, did it?
No. Appreciate those kind words.
Really, man. Thank you.
We enjoy it. We're glad it's we're glad it's helping people out, and we hear all the time about people feeling like we introduce them to new artists they might not have ever heard. So
that's pretty cool. I found Ellie on this show, and she's on a couple of my songs too. Like she's
amazing.
Yeah, like I saw the video of y'all doing it with her, and I think I was watching like just the one shots of hers, and it was just like hey, please, will you come lend some sound to my
one of our
songs real
favorites.
quick?
Yeah.
Oh,
we talk about her all the time.
That was one of my favorite one shots.
Yeah, she's it's going to be too late by the time this comes out, but she's playing Friday at Z Bar.
You going? I want to go. Let's go.
I think it'd be a good idea.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I don't know what else we'd do. Why not? It's who's opening? They've been here.
Lilac?
Nope, somebody else. Ellie, somebody in Lilac. Yeah.
All right, Nate, we're going to take a halftime break here, and we're going to ask you a few questions.
Cool. All right.
You cool with that?
Hot seat.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Yeah.
All right, so what is one thing non-musical that people should know about you? Something people might find interesting?
Yeah, I'm going to promote my own podcast I do for my job. Yeah, it's I work in public health. I run an overdose prevention-based podcast that really just important stuff. Like I kind of fell into the job when I was graduating college, and COVID opened up some slots to help my hometown's health department. Eastern Kentucky's been hit real hard by the opioid epidemic, and we were trying to figure out ways you can get people to stop being so down on people that have had a hard go with drugs and all that. And I was like, well, let's start a podcast for it. So The Local Lens, The Local Lens is the podcast we run where we interview people that have their life involving drugs in some capacity, whether it's through their work or personal lives. And just trying to get people used to hearing those conversations and comfortable with talking to each other about it and being open with struggles. And
how many of those conversations where you've talked with somebody that's been gone down the road of addiction, especially to opiates, has it started as a prescription due to an injury or pain or something that in this state alone, I mean, that seems to have been, it's not by accident that those drugs hooked people.
Yeah.
And hooked people that I'm really anybody can get hooked on pain pills and opiates. I mean, that's what a lot of those were prescribed to do. Not only kick the pain, but get you hooked.
Yeah. Well, what I ended up seeing was about half of the people were saying it was coming from some kind of prescription, and about half were saying that like just had nothing else to do. So like, what else are you going to do with your time? Like, go get high. Like that's what you're doing for fun. And like for me, that's a big reason to do music instead. Because I mean, like, there's no telling what my mental health state would be if I wasn't pouring so much energy into music. You know, if I pour an unnecessary amount of it for like what I actually do with it, but like there's an endless amount of space for your head to go running in, and you can obsess over it, and it's a healthy thing to obsess over. Whereas if you don't do this and you go into using recreational drugs or something, or ever get into using heroin at some party, then like, man, things just get away from you quick, and that happens a lot. And yeah, there's a pocket of musicians around Eastern Kentucky. Aaron Boyd is one. Aaron Boyd is a skilled guy, but like he's in recovery himself, and he's writing about it, singing about it, and it's good and it's pleasant to hear. He's not preaching at anybody. He's just like, hey, I've been through some dark stuff, and like, yeah, so
using that instrument to, you know, maybe shed some pain without having to be a man. Yeah,
That's
it's
good.
interesting,
That's
man.
cool.
Yeah, it's fun. But yeah, no, that's what I would say is if you're here and I can direct you to anything else,
The local lens.
the local lens. Yeah, go check
Is that on
out.
everywhere? Spotify, all that.
Yep.
All right.
Maybe not everywhere. It's on Spotify and Apple, and
Then it's
Google
everywhere. It's
and
good.
Yeah,
You're
it's
fine.
everywhere.
That's
Yeah,
everywhere
yeah.
you need to look. Go find it.
You catch 90%
The
of people
local
there.
lens. That'd be interesting. I gotta listen to that.
Yeah, it's a fun thing.
All right, Nate, tell us about a nightmare gig or your most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you on stage.
Well, so all right, I don't play live a ton. I've never been in love with that. I tried to get into it over the past couple of years, and like, really, that's just not for me.
Really?
Yeah, it's just not a part of what
So
I love
everyone's
doing.
a nightmare for you?
Yeah. But no, there were definitely, like, this happened at least 5 times. I was on stage and just forgot an entire verse, and like just had to be like, you know what? That's it. We got to call the song there. And that's always embarrassing when that happens. But like, because I mean, I wrote the song. I should know the words.
Yeah,
I
could miss the whole song of Brown Eyed Girl, man. That's fine if you miss your own words.
Yeah.
So what is it that you don't like about performing live or don't love?
It takes a lot of effort to get it going. You know, I'm fine with getting on stage. Like, I really don't have any stage fright at this point anymore. It's not necessarily that. It's just like finding gigs. It's staying up late. I don't like being out too late. I'm not a bar scene guy necessarily. I'll go out every now and then, but like, it's just, well, Jim Croce, I'll put it this way. Jim Croce is like one of my favorite people on the planet. And he made it big, got famous, and was touring the world. And after about a year was just like, that's not what I want to do with my life. Like, I'm going to go home and spend this time with the people I love and all that. And plane wrecked before he got home. So he realized that, like, that's not what he wanted to do with his time, and then didn't have the chance to do it. And like, the Beatles stopped touring after a little bit. Like, I mean, I think it was for like Beatlemania reasons or something like that. But I mean, like,
they couldn't hear their instruments.
Yeah.
It was too loud.
That's not a problem I was having.
Have you ever tried? Have you ever tried like house shows or
that's mostly what I was doing?
Or,
yeah, like those and some open mics, and like at the Tim Faulkner Gallery. Like the Tim Faulkner Gallery was a beautiful place when that was up and running.
That's Portal now at Portland.
Is it?
It's back. Yeah, it's mostly like death metal shows and stuff. But
yeah,
it's interesting.
Bring it on.
Take your earplugs.
Can anybody please tell me what the appeal is of like wanting to punch other dudes in a pit of anger? I mean, dude, those guys kick and kick and shit.
At least they do it there.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, you go to like a Lamb of God concert or something like that. It's insanity.
I wonder how many of those guys were linemen in football in high school. You know,
I was going to say the same thing. I just
think
think there's got to be some places like that for some people.
Yeah.
There has to be football, there has to be boxing, has to be MMA, has to be punching your friend in the face at a concert.
It's incredible, though, that they could do that. Some guy could get a black eye and then just be like, you know what? That's fine with me.
Let me buy you a
What a
beer.
great stat we had last night.
You punched the hell out of me, man. I was dizzy.
Yeah.
That's a good song.
Yeah.
All right, last question, then we'll get on back to the real interview. Who's the last local artist you listened to?
Well, I've been giving a lot of shout outs to people all through this so far.
Last one you've had in your ears.
It was Dylan. Yeah,
Okay.
it was Dylan through the interview. I was listening to some of his, and then right before that was Gonzo. But I have to plug Catherine Brooks on here. I don't know if y'all know who she is yet, but you've got to get on Catherine Brooks.
I just figured she was related to you.
No, she's not. I've been dating her younger sister off and on, and Catherine and I her younger sister's name's Margaret, and Catherine and I, we started like doing some music stuff together, like because we were around each other, and no relation at all, and just like happenstance, and people were always confused with stuff. So Catherine is a friend and all that, but she's incredible. She just put out her own 5-song EP that Anthony Keenan produced it, and she's a good writer. She's like she's a Bob Dylan grandkid kind of thing, and following those footsteps, and so
Okay.
she's worth looking for. So
Man, Nate's giving us some work to do.
I'm giving you some work.
Fellow podcaster, he knows.
Yeah.
Needs some guests.
I want to get polar skates back together.
When was you're talking about not really playing out live a lot, and starting with keys, moving to guitar. When was the first time you performed publicly?
It was let's see. It was in 2021, I think.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was in 2021. Like by the end of 2020, I had just started to like play in front of my family and was just like, hey, this is weird. And I couldn't make it through a song. I couldn't do it. I was never
crying.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I wouldn't cry. I would just shut up. Like I just squeak a little more than anything.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And no, it was 2021. I don't remember exactly what like the first show even was, but it was like doing some house show kind of stuff, and then like open mics, and really just trying to break the rust a little bit. And
Yeah.
just get out of it.
That stuff's too intimate. That's why it's that's probably why the performing live isn't a big thing, because that's way too personal.
No, I hate the thought of playing at a bar though, where just nobody's paying attention. I can't
That's
do that.
true, too.
Yeah,
But
I did try it. I just did not like it, man. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Well, and it also just depends. Like if you're going to a place like, I don't know, Z-Bar, or like playing at O'Shea's where you play for 4 hours and you do that, that's beyond the pale. I mean, that's no bueno for anybody. Me anyway, these days, to each his own. But, once you do that and have done all that, it becomes super important to, when you do play, it's about the experience and the music, especially when you go all original and stuff. So,
well, I know people had to, once you did start playing for people, have to say, hey, people want to hear this. People got to hear this.
Yeah, well, actually, I remember now what the first one was. It was a Deer Park Porch Fest.
okay.
In 2021. And
we played that.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously?
Isn't that the one we played now?
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that year.
Yep.
I think it was. Yeah, that
Sweet.
was cool.
It's a great thing. I love that they do that. And I was living in Cherokee Triangle at the time and was just walking down to the coffee shop that starts with an S. I don't remember what it is. Sapphire. Yeah, that's the one. And was like, oh, you could sign up for this thing. And it was fun. And I got a lot of really good compliments from strangers that day. And that was really encouraging. But then it was like, okay, I loved the intimate part of it, like where I could stop and tell stories about the songs.
Mm-hmm.
And like seeing Lyle Lovett play, like he does the same thing. He'll play a 4-minute song and tell a 10-minute story leading up to it and 15 minutes afterwards. And then, so I love that style of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was a cool festival, man.
Yeah.
That's if that's your first thing ever, that's awesome, because everybody that was out and supporting that went out to hang out and watch music
Oh, yeah.
So you don't have a picture of what it is in your head, do you?
Yeah, I think I think I saw it on.
Yeah, it's super cool, man.
On people's porches, mainly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I
saw different videos and things on social media. You know, where people took cell phone videos and things.
Yeah, I'm in that area every day. So I was walking it during work and just would hear a little bit here, hear a little bit there, hear a little bit here. It was cool. And then then we played it.
Nice.
It was a day. I had a day that day.
So when did you first record?
Started recording, it was 2018 or 2019, I think. I think I started messing around with it in 2018. And then 2019, I had a batch of original songs that I was like, okay, we're going to do this. And I just do it at home. I do it one track at a time. I love that. That's so much fun.
Is it something you were not secretive about, but just real quiet about? Something you just kind of did to yourself, or did you?
Yeah, I had like an Instagram page. I was like, hey, people, that's my generation though. You know, I've had like 15 different Instagram pages just for like different runoff projects I was doing, and so I just like was like, hey, people, this is something I'm trying out. Follow along if you like, and it's stuck a little bit, and like wasn't doing any shows or anything, but I was like, I wrote 4 songs and played some instruments and had some friends help on it and all that, and people were like, hey, this is fun and this is cool. So yeah, just kind of did about that for a couple of years. I still don't go into studios though. I love recording it. Like I wanted to be the DIY stuff. That's big. I wanted to do like audio engineering school for the longest time, and just ended up not wanting to do it for work. So it's been a good passion though. So yeah, it's been a great hobby.
Let's hear another one.
All right,
what do you got for us?
This one's called Spare. It's another one from this new. I
knew I wore this shirt for a reason, man.
Your bowling shirt.
My bowling square.
Hold on, let's see the shirt. Oh, that's awesome.
Who's it?
I don't know. He was better at bowling than me. I rolled a 16 in 5 frames this weekend, didn't I?
I was there.
I swear, the ball or something or the lanes were not straight. One of them was it me?
3 pins a frame, and you get 2 balls a frame, right?
I don't know.
So you barely averaged more than a pin per ball.
Why are you making fun of me, man?
Anyway, all right.
Not very good.
It was very, very bad bowling, but it was fun.
Well, Nate, here's the bad thing though. There were 4 of us. And my wife won. We got started late, so they closed on us. We only got 5 frames. My wife won in 5 frames with a 40.
I think she beats everybody by like 8 pins.
Yeah.
That's so good, y'all. You shouldn't be proud.
It's okay. There was a lot of alcohol before.
Yeah.
All right, Spare.
Ellie's on the record of this one too. So
okay.
yeah, this is one that I'm happy with this song. All right.
Well, I would like to fly on the wings of a sparrow. Could you spare me an arrow? I've got to hit home. I was born to be roaming the middle of earth and all of its edges for all that it's worth. I'll send you a message in the mouth of a pigeon. Could you spare me the ink and come sit at my side? I could give you a ride on the wings of a sparrow or the walls of a stronghold. Much younger than this, I handle the bliss of a warm cup of coffee and a bird and a bee and a tale we all know. I would like to fly on the wings of a spirit. I'll die to be near it. Oh, carry me home. Yesterday I gazed on a bow bouquet of roses, frozen, preserved in a coldly kept hall. I called you over and told you to hurry. My vision was blurry. Tell me what you saw. A bouquet of tulips in the typical tundra. My 2 eyes bore witness, but I still don't believe. Don't lie to me, darling. Just lie down beside me. Oh, spare me the headache and listen to us breathe. That sinus infection is showing, right?
Oh, sounding good.
Sounds great.
Well, I would like to fly on the wings of a sparrow. Oh, spare me the sorrow. It's all that I know. I was born to be Roman and leave you a story, and all those before me may carry me home.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, so you were you talked about Ellie being on that song, and I could hear her playing while you were playing that. I was hearing it in my head.
Yeah, I was listening to a lot of Roger Miller around that time too, and
Roger Miller.
I can do it for he's talking this important and like, yep, yeah. So it really, I felt like he was shining through, and a couple people had told me that they were like, "Man, you kind of have a Woody Guthrie thing going on," and I was like, "Okay, I'm going to lean into it for a little bit then," and then it was fun. So yeah, it was a whole fun thing.
I love it. Sounds great.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. Apologies for the nose thing again, but well, that was throwing me off. I got in my head.
It sounded good, man.
That's a big thing that happens though with like the live stuff too. Like, it's just self-confidence things. Like,
Absolutely.
You talk about like the anxiety stuff earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I've ever like had like anxiety issues or anything, but definitely just like imposter issues and all that. Like, just like, who am I to get up and do anything like that? But
Yeah.
You just get up and do it, I guess.
Nerves and yeah.
Well, you got it, man.
Yeah. I definitely get that. And I think, it kind of goes with Roger Miller. When we had Tyler Lance Walker Gill, we had him out for that BA show.
He played a host set of Roger Miller.
He played a host set of Roger Miller.
That was awesome.
He played a host set of Roger Miller and then sang one of his songs that he wrote at the end that's unbelievable. But I do remember him saying something to the effect that I'm not going to sing my songs because that's just silly, or like something like that, like to the effect that it kind of felt like he was like, I'm that, when everybody that I know, and like that was 2 years ago, it was in my top 2 or 3 on the Spotify year in review, his record, because it was so well written. It sounded like, so it was, so I think that that's common among people, unless they're the uber confident, I'm the best, or,
and he's probably one of the best live performers around as far as working a crowd.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's one of the things I remember about that show, other than, a whole hour of Roger Miller.
He played 57 songs to fill his time.
Yeah.
Whoa. Not really, but close. Roger Miller's songs are so short, man. They're like 2 minutes.
He played Roger Miller for an hour to a crowd that had no idea a guy was going to play Roger Miller for an hour, and he had that crowd in the palm of his hand for an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Roger was giving him good stuff to work with for sure.
Well, here's the thing. And then he played his song at the end. Everybody's like, why in the hell didn't he play his stuff? It was awesome. Yard Selling. I hope he eventually releases it, but go watch Yard Selling on our one shot and tell me that's not one of the best damn songs you've ever heard. I listened to that thing.
What was his name?
Tyler Lance Walker Gill.
Have you seen him with his band?
I've
with
seen
the full
bits
band?
and pieces, but dude, he's so...
They are so tight.
Yeah.
I think they're playing coming up, Z-Bar, March maybe? Lee and I went last time, and his band is so tight. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
He's
awesome.
a phenomenal musician. But yeah,
He gives
man.
you a lot of names to remember.
I ain't that, but it's hard not to because it's like, man, is he kidding? And then you remember it. You're like, all right, hell.
It kind of helps. It adds to his thing because if you got to give that initial amount of energy just to remember the name in the first place, then like you're going to remember it at that point. So yeah,
It's almost like him singing a set of Roger Miller. You just wonder, is the joke on me? Is he making me remember all these names because the joke's on me here? And I remember them. I'm going to remember them. But here we go. This is damn great. He leans in hard to whatever it is, and it's phenomenal.
So Nate, our listeners want to follow you a little more closely. Where do they find your music that's out there? Where do they find you?
yeah. It's Nate Brooks, and you can get on the Instagram. It's Nate Brooks Tunes on there, and yeah, just search Nate Brooks online, and that'll be it.
And listen to the whole damn album from start to finish.
It's better
I'm
that
telling
way.
you, it's definitely better that way.
Come on, yeah. That was modern mythology with that one, and then this one's going to be Picacho. Got the Picacho
You got the hat?
repping for it. So yeah,
Gotcha.
When's this going to be
Picacho.
released?
Hoping around April.
Right on, man.
Start putting some stuff up around March or so.
Awesome.
Got to get with Max and get the polishing touches up on it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah,
listened
right
to
there.
the record start to finish today, man. It was good. It was
thank you.
definitely a very digestible start to finish, easy to listen to.
Good.
And I suggest to listen to it start to finish myself.
Yeah, there you go.
It was a heart project. That one, it meant a lot to be able to like sit down and write like a cohesive thing. That was what I always wanted to do. Was like I never wanted to do an album until I had like a whole thought start to finish with, and that definitely does. And like it really meant a lot to like have an actual platform to be able to say like to kind of call people out on it. Like the whole point of the album is like people make up answers for what life is about all the time, and like nobody really knows what the answers are. You just kind of have to go with it and figure out a way to be happy where you are. But
Nice.
yeah, it was a very fun album to be making. It meant a lot to me. It was teaching me a lot of lessons as I was going through it, and hope that it's doing the same for people that get to hear it. So
Phenomenal, man.
Cool. I know you're not feeling tops, but do you have one more in you think you can take us out with?
yeah, I got you.
All
Yeah,
right, let's
bring
do
it
it.
on.
Tell us what we have here.
Oh, should you do a short little one or a longer
Whatever
one?
you want to
It's
do,
up to
man.
you,
Take
man.
it.
Yeah, whichever one
Oh.
you think people would like to hear the most.
Yeah, we'll do the short one. It's a fun one.
Okay.
All right, this is a song. I did this, let's see, 2 months ago or so. It's called "Caught Staring in a Puddle." I was texting a friend, and he said, "Oh, that's deep." And I was like, I don't know if it's that deep. It might be more of a puddle. And then that whole kind of thing just kind of went off the rails. And then about 10 minutes later was this song. So
There we go.
yeah, we got
Yeah.
it for you.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I found a dime and a nickel. Shouldn't a nickel be worth more? What are either of them for? If I can't even up the score, I'll make $1 out of putty and buy the butt of a limousine. To money hungry, money's power, but to me it's gasoline. And I'm the car, we are the highway, you're the demolition derby. I'm El Camino, I ain't no Herbie. I'm fully loaded like a potato. I drop my nickel down in a puddle. I drop my jaw at what I saw. And I can't tell you, cause I can't say. So come again on another day. Who's to say what's the truth? Where'd you get all of your proof? You had a thought, but then poof, it's returned back to the wind. Keep my pennies in a tin, so I never go broke again. Then I gave them all to my friend, cause what is worth anyway. All right.
Thanks again, man. Thanks,
Yeah,
Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you all for having me. Yeah, it's a pleasure.